Before you can begin designing the package for your product, you'll have to know the dimensions for the package. You could start by asking the product manufacturer for the overall dimensions of the product. In the case of our sample here, there is a plastic bottle which will contain the product. Now, the manufacturer would have ordered this bottle from a bottle manufacturer, and they would have been provided with the dimensions of this bottle, including all of the curvatures and the cap size. So that's kind of stuff you really can't measure. It's very difficult to measure. So find out from your client if they have these measurements or if they can get them for you. That will certainly make your life a lot easier. Now, I just happen to have a sample bottle here that I'm going to measure for my package mock-up using tools I have lying around here on my desk. Later, I'll show you how to use these measurements to create cutting dies for both the label and the carton. So just some of the measurements that I'm going to need to take here would be the overall width of the bottle, the height, the circumference, and then the labeling area. Now, the labeling area is this flat edge of the outermost sides of the bottle. So I want my label to fit nice and flat, and so there's a nice straight surface there. And so basically where the curvature of the bottle stops at the top and there at the bottom, that flat area is what I want to measure as my labeling area. Now, some of the tools that I'm going to need to do this. Well, if I have a set of calipers, that's going to make life really easy because I can use them to measure both the width and the height of the bottle. But what if you don't have calipers laying around? Well, you can use some other tools. In my case, I'm going to use a T-square, a drawing triangle, and a ruler. So by using both the T-square and the drawing triangle and also a ruler, I can get an accurate measurement. So I'm using the T-square and the triangle almost like the jaws of the caliper. And if I lay that down on next to the bottle and pinch the bottle in between, the T-square is going to hold one edge of the bottle, and then the triangle is going to collapse on the other edge. And because the triangle has a 90-degree turn there, I can make sure that that distance is accurate. Now, all I have to do is lay the ruler down between the T-square and the triangle here, and then I would have my measurement. Now, in this photograph, you're going to see me using something slightly different. Now, that metal ruler that you see there is what is known as a framing square, and this is used a lot of times in carpentry. So this is also another very handy tool to use. And the reason being, it already has a ruler built in. Now, another measurement that I need to make is the circumference of the bottle. So for this, I generally like to use a measuring tape. Now, you'll find these in most health and beauty areas, and a lot of times it's also found in sewing sections. So it's just a flexible measuring tape, and they'll usually come in metric and standard inches. So you just wrap this around the bottle and take your measurement. What if you don't have one of these? What if the only thing I had was, say, a steel ruler, a flat, straight ruler? Well, just throw that thing on your photocopier and make a photocopy of it. Now you've got a paper ruler, and it does the same purpose that this measuring tape would. You just wrap this around the bottle. So you just take your measuring tape or the photocopy and wrap it around the bottle to find the circumference of your bottle. Now, the only thing here is you want to make sure that those top edges of your measuring tape or the photocopy line up. And you can see that here in the photograph. I'm taking great care to make sure that this is wrapped perfectly around the bottle and that edge is straight or level. The last measurement would be the labeling area. And once again, this is the flat area of the bottle in this case. And for this, no special tools, just a ruler. With these measurements in hand, I can begin constructing a mock-up of the unfolded carton and the label that will wrap around the product bottle. This mock-up will give the basic shape on which I will create my design. The time you spend here getting your measurements correct will certainly pay off later in the process.